Hello and welcome to the Honest Business Podcast. I hope you are very, very well. I hope things are going great for you in your business and I hope you're having a fantastic time. However, today we have got an exciting episode that if I had £1 for every time someone asked me about, I'd be a very, very rich woman. We're going to talk about objection handling and specifically one objection that comes up in sales quite a lot, which is, drumroll please, what to do when you hear, I'll wait, now's not the right time, get back in touch with me in X amount of months time. Kind of you get an objection around time. And basically it's like, I'm waiting, I'm out, like it's not right now, it's not happening, that contract's not been signed. I'm going to talk to you today about what should you do around that and reframe it and reposition it, and I think it's going to be a good one. So let's dive into it. And if you like this episode and you have other objections that you'd like me to talk you through, feel free to send me a message and be like, please can you talk about this one, because I'm more than happy to do more of these. Objection handling is one of the things I love the most about kind of no, I don't love the most about sales, but I just think it's kind of interesting because people get bad training on it and then they kind of it just is never, sometimes it just doesn't work out well, but it doesn't have to be, it can be a really good thing. So let's go I'm not even going to go into it already. I'm already thinking about all the things that we could say, but let's not go there. So what to do when you hear someone say, I'll wait, or now's not the right time, or bugger off, I'm not signing because actually X, Y, and Z's happening, come and see me in a month's time, 6 months time. This all comes down to your business model and you and what you are selling. Okay, so in your business, if you hear this a lot, because the people who tend to hear this a lot, like people will say to me, I hear this all the time, you have to look at this in two parts. Okay, one part is we can physically objection handle, like we can actively objection handle that objection that comes in, and we can kind of help people to go on a journey of changing their mind potentially, or kind of seeing a different perspective. Or there's the other side of things, which is around business model design. It is around understanding your sales process. It's around understanding lead time, and it's around understanding how your business operates. And those are two very valid points, and both of them we're going to cover today, and both of them are important. So I'm going to touch first on this second piece that we have talked about, and we're going to look at the idea of business model design and things like that. Okay, so when you have any sales process in a business, you are constantly learning and intaking data points to then guide your business forward and to understand how sales works in your business. In whatever industry you are in, there will be a kind of benchmark understanding of how sales works. So how sales works in insurance, for example, is very different from how sales is going to work in, let's think something, supermarket sales. Like if you're trying to sell a product into a supermarket, those two sales process and sales process lengths are likely to be very different. What you will learn is what your average lead time is, and that's what ultimately this comes down to. So some of you will be in business for a while and will know that actually sometimes you get a client who finds you on the same day and buys from you. You also get some people who watch you for years and years and years and then buy from you, and then you might have a middle point, and the middle point is usually the kind of average lead time. So it might be that it's 6 months from them finding you, or it's 2 weeks, or it's 10 months. Like, you will come to a point of understanding what that is, and that's why you need to gather data. So first up is, I understand what is your average lead time, what's expected, what isn't. You also then need to understand, is your sales process and is your sales system built for that in the first place? So for example, if you know that your average lead time is 6 months and it is normal for someone on the first time to, maybe they inquire and they have a sales call with you sort of 2 months after meeting, but you know that it doesn't actually convert until 6 months down the line, is your sales process set up to accommodate for that 4-month gap in between? Most people's answers is no. How can you build things in your business that support someone between the point of them booting a consultation call and then them buying from you? And there's lots of different pieces of work that I can help you do where we build very specific things in your business that can either reduce lead time or can nurture it or can actually help increase spend. So for some people, it's like they're happy to keep the 6-month lead time, but they want to then increase the average spend per client. And we can do also a whole cool things around that as to how we get them to do that. This topic is like so nuanced. And I think many people click on this episode and they expect me to just say like, here's how you do it. And I am going to tell you that, by the way. I am going to tell you what to do if you want them to sign and you're here and I wait. But I just want to also get really clear with you on like, this means something bigger for your business. So you understand your lead time, you understand your process, you understand where that connects to the customer journey, you understand what the customer journey actually looks like, and putting timelines to it. Don't just map your customer journey out and then not put timings on it. Put average timings on. Put ideal timings of what you want, put average ones on, and then put like what is the kind of worst case scenario of how that all works out. You then need to figure out, okay, when they're saying I'll wait, why is that? A lot of the time, it's to do with the issue of not understanding value and urgency. So value and urgency are two separate things, but value and urgency together create a really empowered buyer and create a buyer that's like an immediate hell yes. However, the issue is that sometimes you can be really good at, if you're a good business, you might be really good at showing the value, but they haven't clicked and connected that that's for them and it's for them now. And that's a two different piece of sales content activity, in my opinion. And that's why I'm a real advocate of saying marketing activity is not the same as sales activity. And even in terms of social and in terms of putting active marketing pieces of assets out, you need sales content to sit within that. And that's why you've got to talk to each other in terms of if there's two different people in your business doing two different things, they need to come together. But for most of you listening, it's often you that is doing that. So if you're leading a strategy on that, you need to make sure that they're both connected together. And you need to figure out how you're going to help people understand that this is the value and here's the urgency for you. Now, when I talk about urgency, I'm not saying in that example that I'm saying you need to have sales content that's like, buy now because you've only got 2 days left. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, how do you get them to understand that right here, right now, we need that. We need to buy it here. And depending on your industry and depending on what you're selling, that's going to look different. So if you're selling to an individual or a small business owner, that might be personal. It might be, they want something, they want something in a time frame. You can create scenarios that will help them. If you are someone who is selling to a business, and maybe it's a large business and maybe they've got various different people to sign different commitments off and contracts and things, what you need to help them understand is you need to be forward thinking. What do they plan? When do they plan it? When do they sign off? When does the budget get spent? And you need to also be looking at what other things are they buying? What other things are they kind of weighing up? When would it make sense for you to have these initial conversations? And you start pitching it at the right time, which is really important. You also start making sure that when you're discussing value and you're displaying value, that you're connecting it to things outside of just your offering. So it's not just about the value of the offer, it's the value of the other things that they have to deal with day to day. It's the other things that are in the business, it's the other functions of the business, it's other stakeholders externally like you are that it interacts with and it works well with. That's how you will enable that kind of process to kind of move on quicker. Now, if we look at the first piece of the pie, so when we at the beginning I said, okay, the first piece is the more practical thing of like, what are you actively doing in terms of sales? Let's just touch on that for a moment. So if you are in a situation where someone has said, I love this, I really want to do this, but I'm going to wait. I'm just going to wait. Or they're like, I love this, I really want to do it, but it's not the right time. Like, I'm not in the right place, or I haven't got the time, or, we're focusing on this objective in the business, and so this isn't going to fit right now. You need to then go through a decision-making process in yourself of, are you going to pursue this lead? Do you believe them? Do you want more for them? And what I mean by that is, don't take that all at face value, is, do you want the client in the sense of, are you happy to just let them go on their journey way because actually that what they're saying is true? Like, that actually it isn't the right time for them. And this happens a lot in my business, right? Like, I let people just go and do their thing and they come back around like 6 months, 12 months, 6 weeks, like sometimes even 18 months. People will join things after we've had a consultation call ages ago. Like Maze Accelerated that I'm in a launch now for, somebody has joined who we had a consultation call about it. I want to say 2 years ago. I said 18 months, but I think it's actually 2 years. And then she joined within like a day of this cohort. She was like, "Yeah, I'm ready. Like, I'm good to go. I'm ready now." So you got to kind of decide, like, how much are you going in the camp of, okay, yeah, let them be? Are you in the camp of you don't believe them because you don't actually believe that that is the objection, which is kind of a key one. So sometimes people will say, "Oh, we're going to wait," but that's not actually the objection. Now, to be fair, most people use the money budget thing as the reason, even though you know it's not the reason. But they do use this. So people might say, "Oh, I'll wait. I'll kind of see it out." And what sometimes they are trying to weigh up is this investment going to pay off for us at the level that we need it to in the time frame we want it to happen? And that is why when you are having sales conversations, you must try and get as much detail about the situation they're in now and where the business is going, or them as a person if you're not selling B2B. And you've really got to help people understand, like, you have to know in your head, okay, this value, that's a value to them, that's what they're working on, how does that fit in? And you've got to verbally say that. Sometimes you've got to verbally say, okay, well, I know by this point you want the business to be here. If you start this in June, by September we'll have completed that, which will then allow you to be able to really do a good job at your launch in Q4, for example. You've got to start plotting things out. If you don't have a good sales call, or you don't have a good data collection method, because you don't have to do a sales call, then this all becomes very difficult, because you can't start being very useful in terms of clinking everything together and helping people build a picture. Because you've got to remember, right? Sales is just to helping people make the right decision for them. That's all it is. It's not manipulation. It's not you like forcing people to do anything. It's not us trying to get people to want something. It's about people understanding, is this right for them? Does it fit? How's it going to work? And you can really simply sort of build a sales process or a consultation call process where you gather that information that you need. Now, the other question is this the right client? Because sometimes when people say they'll wait, that's enough for you to say, no, that's not them. So there's certain offers I have in the business where if someone doesn't just say, yes, I'm in straight away, and I don't mean like on the call, I mean like within a few days, I'm kind of just like, they're not the right client. Sometimes, sort of my high touch stuff, I just immediately am like, yeah, that's just not gonna, like, I can just start to tell that it's not gonna work and it's not the right client, and that's fine. Yeah, you've got to get okay with being like, okay, they're a lead that we don't need to pursue anymore, if you're happy saying that it's not right. Now, the other thing that will help you to get less "I'll wait" objections is being open with your pricing, which I know seems a bit random, but for most industries, there's a real correlation between transparent and easy pricing and speed of kind of lead conversion. So if you are open and clear in your pricing, it makes it a lot easier for people to say yes. And the reason that is because people will often come to you a lot more qualified than they will do if not. So if you do not share your pricing and it's not clear for people, they will turn up and they have to then get the price and the whole thing in their head and sorted before they can move on to the next thing. If they come to the consultation call, haven't already understood the price and haven't already ticked a box to say, yes, I understand that it starts on this rate, or yes, I know that it's X amount of money, you haven't got that to deal with. They're already coming way more qualified, saving you time, saving you money. So at the point in which they're then on that call, they're already further along the journey, and then they can actually start making a decision based on the thing they're buying and not the price. And for most, it depends what you're selling, but if someone is prepared to get on the call with you or have some kind of interaction with you, the price bit is not the issue. The price is kind of a whole thing, what they've already just said, yes, okay, or fine, or yes, it's not an issue. It's the other piece. And that's why I say to people all the time, like, price is not the reason people are not buying. It's very rare. If you're direct to consumer, that's a different situation. But for most of the time, most people, it's not the price. It's understanding what the value is, or it's actually a whole other set of things, which is one of the things that we're discussing here. Now, the other thing that will help you get less I wait is your messaging. So, specific messaging that people are getting exposed to consistently, they need to have similar messaging constantly that helps them to move forward. And often, if it's an I wait, it's because they're not fully set on what you're telling them. They're not sold in, they're not bought in, they're not connected enough to the goal. So, whatever you're providing a solution to, the messaging needs to be reiterating that very consistently. If you're saving someone money, for example, that needs to be clear for people. If you are elevating brand awareness through creating incredible video, for example, maybe you're like a video marketing agency, the messaging needs to be very clear. Every interaction you have, what is the benefit of that and why does it matter now? So bring in current events, bring in, what is happening in their local area, bring in why is that relevant to them? How can it help them have a differentiation point? How is that going to help them win more business than their competitor over the road? Like, really get gritty with the messaging in terms of what does it mean for X, Y, and Z person or institution or whoever is the purchaser. Another thing is problem awareness. So if you are wanting to get people to say yes quicker, they need to be hyper aware of their problem often. So let's just say this is a good one. Okay. Health insurance. If you are someone who sells health insurance, maybe you've had a consultation, you've gotten the quote, you've gotten them through everything, and then they're like, right, here's the policy, here's what you need to do. And then they go, oh, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for whatever reason. And you're like, are you joking? Like, you needed this policy yesterday. Like, come on. Like, what? That is where your problem awareness needs to come in. Problem awareness of, what does this mean? Like, you're going to die today? And when I'm saying this, I'm not saying you're going to ring them and start saying this on the phone. I'm saying you're going to have content, you're going to have email, you're going to have, this is where your multi-layered sales strategy comes into it, of different areas where they're looking at something and saying, hang on a minute, actually, they need to be brought back down to the problem. They need to be aware of what the risk is to them. So for the health insurance example, it's like, well, okay, have you got emotive content around that? Have you got informative content? Have you got inspirational content of like, look at this amazing story where, yes, somebody died from some horrific thing, but actually they had this in place and that meant that this family has now been able to do X, Y, and Z thing and they haven't had to worry about whatever. Like, this is where you build all of your market messaging from. It's where you build all your marketing plans from, and it's where you build your sales content from. And so you build that problem awareness. So if they then see the problem awareness content, they've already said, oh, I'm going to wait. But then for 3 days, they're seeing all this content, or they're getting emails, or they're exposed to something where they're like, oh shit, yeah, this is a problem and I need to get this, and this is of urgency. They can then come back around. Now, that is where your whole lead following up is important, because often people will not follow up when they say, I'll wait. But if your content is really good, there are so many people who will change their mind. It's very, very normal for people to say, oh, I'm going to wait. And then days later or weeks later come back and say, oh, do you know what? I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do it. Even if they've said, come and speak to me in months and months' time. It happens for bigger businesses, it happens for small businesses, like things change all the time. So don't just see it as like, if someone says to you, oh, okay, well, get back to me in 6 months' time, do not put that in your CRM or in your sales system and say, all right, that means I'm not going to contact them until the 6 months. You've got to stay in touch with them, ideally, in very brief ways, in very short ways. It doesn't have to be that you're sending this like follow-up email, but you want to stay connected to them because at any point, anything can change. And so it's really important that you don't just look at people and like block things and like leads. Like, remember, these are human beings who we interact as human beings. They still need to remember who you are in 6 months' time, depending on the industry. Like, some of you operate in industries where they will not remember you in 6 months' time. And then when you pop up and say, hey, are you ready now? They're like, who the fuck are you? But if you continue to build that relation, maybe you've seen them somewhere, maybe you've commented on their LinkedIn, maybe you've kept that bond together, then that makes sense to follow up. So that's, I mean, we could talk about this for hours. I get so excited about this, and there's so many things we can build in your business to support you with this. But that's just one example of like where the problem awareness piece really comes into play. People think the problem awareness content is only for kind of middle of funnel and getting people to move to decision making, but problem awareness content also has a game to play in conversion content, in getting people through objection handling and through that kind of objection piece where they're sort of thinking that they may think something, but maybe they're in that kind of still in the decision making process. There is also an option for you to build urgency. So urgency building is not bad. You know, sometimes we need to build urgency in people to get them to do stuff. Like in my work, we don't do a lot of urgency building in terms of how we sell in the business. However, I'd make a lot more money if we did, because and it wouldn't be unethical either. I think this is important. Like you can build urgency in ethical ways and it's good. Urgency helps people buy. Like I need urgency to buy. I'm 100% the buyer who buys on the last day, or I can buy like ages down the line, or it takes me ages to get something or whatever. Like I love when people follow up. I've said this before on the podcast. I love when people send me emails. I love when stores send me emails with the same thing time and time again, because I'm like, yes, finally, okay, I'm going to do that, or the discount code all the time. Like I love people who appreciate that people need urgency. So build urgency into your sales strategy. And that's something you can definitely do in an ethical way without kind of deception and deceiving people and it all being a bit awkward and cringe. It doesn't have to be that. And the other thing that's a really basic one, but is a one that actually really works time and time again if you want a practical option, is sharing examples of people, of clients, of customers who have regretted waiting really works. So regardless of what you're selling, often people need to be like, oh yeah, so and so regretted it and wish they'd started sooner. And you might be lucky where we've had it before where a couple of people have actually said that on a testimonial or said that in a video where they said, do you know what, I waited 2 years and I wish I hadn't. Or actually my advice to anybody thinking about buying from May would be that we do it sooner. Like when you get that, it's really beautiful. And if you can naturally get that, it's lovely. But there's also, you can definitely kind of create anecdotal examples where people are like, if we'd done that 2 years ago, then the business or this thing would have been in that place, or my health would be in that space. So, sharing examples of people who've regretted waiting is helpful if you know that the reason the person is saying I'll wait is because they're just scared to take that leap, or they're not quite sure, or there's not this kind of like push to kind of go for more. That can be helpful. I'm going to leave that there for this episode because I feel like there's quite a lot there for us to go through, but hopefully that gives you some pointers. So just to recap, you've either got to decide that the client is just going to wait and that's the right thing for them and they're going to go off and do their own thing and that's fine. You then all going to decide that actually they're talking rubbish and that's not actually the objection, it's something else. And you can either go on an adventure to try and find what that is, and you can use multi-layered sales strategy to help people decide that on their own and help them to come to a different conclusion. You can make sure that people know that they can change their mind at any time and that you'll have availability, or you'll hopefully find a way of fitting them in at the earliest convenience they can. And then there's also an element of you thinking about, what does that mean for your business? So how does your business operate? What is a general pattern for people in your business? How can you adjust how the whole business runs in terms of your sales strategy to accommodate for the idea that actually people just need time because it's a 20 grand investment, or because so and so needs to sign it off and this needs approval? Like, just build it into your sales strategy that you need X amount of leads because you need X amount of people in the bottom of your funnel, and the average conversion time at the bottom of the funnel is X amount of time. If you have listened to this and you're now thinking, actually, we have got lots of ways where people have fallen through the sales funnel and not converting because there's various different objections where people are not being nurtured and are not helped along, that's where doing sales strategy work with me will be really useful and really valuable to you. You can do that in a number of different ways, but one of them is a sales strategy build. We cover all sorts of different things. We create various different solutions. It is a fantastic piece of work we can do together. Feel free to check that out and come and inquire about it with me, because it is transformational for businesses, especially if you're kind of growing and you really want to make sure that you continue with the level of growth you want to, but you don't necessarily need to go and get more leads. You can actually capitalize on the stuff that you've already got in your funnel. I will see you next week. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.